Good morning, y'all. It is June the 2nd, 2016, and usually we try to do family fun videos, but this is what I consider fun. This is our garden. I thought I'd give an update for this week. I may try to do updates weekly. We'll see how that goes. But I want to show what's going on in the garden right now. These beds, they're full of weeds, but they're also full of turnips, radishes, and carrots. You can see the radishes are starting to flower. They're kind of pretty. Especially this bed right here is full of little purple blooms. And there's a lot of turnips right in there. Here we have Brussels sprouts and broccoli. You'll notice they are planted really closely together. That's because I use the winter sowing milk jug method for growing these, for starting them. And they came out in clumps. I didn't think the seed was going to germinate, so I planted them close together, but they germinated pretty well. This next bed, this was a form of bok choy. I don't know if it was the toy choy or which variety it was, but it's growing pretty well. Thinking about getting some of that for a side dish, some of the younger leaves. So they're already blooming. Pretty. This spot grew completely of weeds, and I tilled it up, and Emily has planted something in there. I'm guessing it's either squash or cucumbers. She found a pack of seeds, and next thing I knew, they were in the ground, so we let it go. Here we have peas. I didn't have many pea seeds, so I just made a little bed of peas. Not too much going on in there. And this is another section that Emily planted. She has beans. You can see those growing right there. And then she also has squash and cucumbers. Those look like cucumber vines down there. So I believe the squash was up here somewhere. She needs to weed her section. These are their sections. I'm not fooling with them, so they've got to get out here and work in them themselves. Okay, this next section, the 2 rows of corn here and here. These are blue shaman popcorn. And then this row is a round green leaf edible amaranth up into a pile of rocks about right there. And then the rest of it is a type of green that I got in a giveaway from Constar. So I'm anxious to see how those are going to do here. Next we have a collection of zucchini and cucumbers and yellow squash. What happened here was I planted the seeds in cups, started them inside, and then I forgot to label them. And they were so small when I put them out that I wasn't sure which was which. So we're just waiting to see what comes up, but whatever it is, it'll be edible and it'll be good. In these rock circles, we have a piece of corn in the middle that's glass gem corn. And I've also sown some squash or zucchini seeds in the same section. So we're still waiting for those to come up. You can see in this one, zucchini seeds already coming up alongside the corn. There's the other one trying to poke out. And then we have the same thing in these circles. Then we have 2 rows of yellow squash. I just went with the rows with these. I decided not to do the circles. That a row would be better for that area. So we have 3 rows of yellow squash. And then this is a row of mammoth sunflower seeds. So they're coming up pretty well. Those will be nice. And this, along this fence, we have cucumber seeds started. They're coming up pretty well. We have Marketmore 76, and then we just did a hybrid pickling cucumber. And then on the end, we have an Armenian cucumber. I have one coming up right there. I'm still waiting to see if the rest of those seeds are going to germinate and do okay. I had never tried those before, but they're going. These hills here, we have 2, 4, 6 hills. These are butternut squash. So this is the section I did the winter squash in.
I think the garlic butter not sauce.
It's just what they refer to that one as. See one of them come up there.
Does it taste like butter, and then they have nut in it, and then it's actually squash?
It's a tasty squash. You can make pumpkin pie out of it.
Yeah.
Do you like pumpkin pie?
Sort of.
Sort of. Okay, I'll show you the last little section here, and then Abigail can tell you what she planted in hers. Watch out right there. We've got stuff coming up in those rows. Here we have 3 rows of purple whole peas. These seed, I bought a pound of purple whole peas during the fall at the flea market and brought them home, spread them out, let them dry out really well. Wasn't sure if I had let them dry enough, but they're coming up very well. So I'm anxious to see how those will turn out for this year. Now, if you'll notice, my garden is laid out crazily with things going that way and things going that way and then little mounds here and there. But I found that it's been kind of nice. When I go to weed, I have a section that I can work on at a time, and it gives me a clear goal as to what I want to get done that day. I'm not a fanatical on weeding, but I'm trying to at least make an effort. See if it does better this year than years past when I've not weeded much at all. So we're working on it. This morning I worked on the peppers and the tomatoes. Then yesterday morning I was in between the rows of the squash and zucchini. So having it divided in sections like that, it's actually working pretty well for me. It started out that way because that was the section of ground I had tilled up, so I just worked whatever ground was ready to be worked in. I just used it, and it sort of evolved into this. Here we have peppers. We have a variety of sweet peppers and hot peppers. I'm not sure which are which, so it should be interesting when they start coming out and fruiting. We're going to have to do a video taste testing each pepper to see if it's hot or not, and then labeling the ones that are not hot, because I am fairly certain we have many more hot peppers than not. These are our tomato plants. These tomato plants were set out early, a lot earlier than I wanted to, but I was having trouble with them in their cup that I started them in. They were dying, and I'd done everything I could to help them, so I took them out, put them in the garden to give them their very best chance. And it only frosted, I think I covered them up maybe 3 times after I set them out. And they've done well. They're about ready to start tying up now. See, I have a potato leaf there, and then I have some regular leaf plants. And then I think Abigail planted this little cup here. It had the tomato seeds and everything already in it. She just had to put it in the ground and water it. So they're just now starting to come up. And then we have a few odds and end pepper plants coming up there. And the only other thing we have there are onions. We have several beds of onions going that way. They won't last very long because we use at least one a day, sometimes multiple ones a day. So now I'll let Abigail show you her garden. Abigail, where's your garden?
Right here. These 4 things covered in my garden. So every 6 rows, you see there's a tomato plant. It's actually a cherry tomato plant.
Cherry tomato. Do you like cherry tomatoes?
And these 2 rows right here are corn.
Hit the button. Okay. These 2 rows.
And these 2 rows are corn. And
There's something coming up. Is that squash or is that cucumbers?
that is, I think that's squash.
Oh, I see them coming up all around there. You've done pretty well keeping your garden clean. You need to weed a little bit too, though, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you like working in your garden?
Yeah.
Why do you like working in the garden?
Because sometimes you can actually make food.
You can make food. This is where food's supposed to come from, isn't it? You gonna work in the garden a lot this year?
Yeah.
You like helping your aunt and uncle in the garden too, don't you? You help them almost every night. We have potatoes going there. I think between our families we have 17 rows of potatoes. They've done really well this spring. So hopefully we'll have a huge potato harvest. Our potato harvest last year failed. It was just too wet and the seeds rotted in the ground. I think we got back just what we put in the ground in seed as far as bushel wise. But this year's going to be better. You're not finished. What else you got?
I also have melons, and right here is seeds from. You might see some melons.
There's a watermelon.
Yep.
I need to water those today, baby. I don't know if they're going to make it or not.
These are sugar baby watermelons.
We got those on discount from the high school, didn't we?
Uh-huh.
So they don't look too good, but we'll put some water on them and see what they do. You also planted some seeds, didn't you? Some watermelon seeds.
Yeah.
What are these? These are growing good. Were those zucchini? Those plants I gave you?
Yeah.
So you've got 2 nice zucchini plants coming up. Can I eat your zucchini?
No, it's my zucchini.
And what are you going to do with it?
I'm gonna have some help from you to make fried zucchini.
Fried zucchini. Okay. The rest of the garden is pretty much just the standard. We have Blue Lake green beans, and then beyond the Blue Lake green beans, we have just a yellow sweet corn. I believe we did candy corn or something of that sort this year. Then way up there, you'll see some little mounds again. Those are Hopi pale gray squash. Those are the winter squash that I've chosen for this year. We're not doing any kind of pumpkin as far as jack-o'-lantern type pumpkins or the orange pumpkins. We've got butternut squash there, and then the Hopi pale grays way up there. I wanted to try to keep them separated as much as I could. And way up there, that's my brother's garden. He is using VHS tape for a crow deterrent around his corn. It's working really well. I've been impressed. We started out using cassette tape, which is what I have on mine, and it catches the light pretty well, but that VHS tape, that really catches some light. There's Abigail checking out the Hopi pale gray. And then we have massive chestnut trees and walnut trees. Then we also have a chestnut tree there. And then we have 2 pear trees. The pear trees really put out a lot of pears every fall. So looking forward to being able to put some of that up. Alright guys, thanks for checking it out, and we'll be back with an update later.